But maybe one of the reasons why Taylor Swift has been so just kind of annoyingly liberal over the last couple of years is that she's not yet married and she doesn't have children. I say this non-sarcastically. I say this as a husband and a father. Having children changes you. Getting married changes you. And I hope that America's biggest pop star marrying the pharmaceutical spokesperson ends up conservatizing them. Taylor Swift might de-radicalize herself. She might come back down to reality. I want them to have lots of children. It teaches you something about yourself. Deep down, I think Taylor Swift actually was raised as a conservative that has gotten kind of caught up in this metropolitan liberal stuff, and she doesn't quite have an attachment to the conservative backbone that she was raised in, but this might reattach her.
Let's pause here. I want to be clear about something. This all comes back to Charlie's flawed worldview because of his religion. He views women, to borrow a term from another evangelical nationalist, as homemakers. That's what they want women to be.
When people start to get married and have children, it starts to change your politics. It starts to clarify your worldview.
Pause. Speaking of children, by the way.
Honestly, I'm done talking about Epstein for the time being. I'm going to trust my friends in the administration. I'm going to trust my friends in the government to do what needs to be done, solve it, balls in their hands.
Look, he's not the sharpest tool in the shed, okay?
Do humans have tails, Charlie?
I'm sorry, what?
Serious question. Do human beings have tails?
I'm not exactly sure the essence of the question.
Do human beings have tails? Do you have a tail?
You know, I have never met anyone with a tail. I'm not exactly sure
Exactly. But fetuses have tails. Kind of proves that at that phase, they are not a human being. They got tails. Humans don't have tails. We're not dinosaurs. Let me even show you a photo, if I may, okay? Do you truly, in your heart of hearts, truly believe that this is a human being? This?
Without a doubt.
Without a doubt?
Yes.
This is a dolphin fetus. Without a doubt, a dolphin fetus is a human being. This is a human fetus. Look how similar they look, but quite different. Dolphin. You just confirmed that a dolphin... In life, do you confuse dolphins for human babies often?
Now, when it comes to those religious beliefs, okay, it is important to understand many things.
And now, in many of these spaces, including Rushdoony's direct teachings, there's a racial hierarchy here as well. And so when they're talking about restoring Christian America, making America great again, for some in this movement, those inspired by this theology of kind of social hierarchy, that involves white supremacy, right? It involves patriarchy. It involves all of these things and knowing your place and submitting to the God-ordained authorities. And they believe that that is the key to a prosperous society. And it was all messed up with post-war liberalism and the civil rights movement and the women's movement.
That is Kristen Kobas-Dumais, the author of Jesus and John Wayne, How White Evangelicals Corrupted a Faith and Captured a Nation. For the full interview on my podcast, go to youtube.com/@the Rick Strom Show.
Taylor Swift might go from a cat lady to a J.D. Vance supporter, and I think we should celebrate that. I think that Taylor Swift having 2 or 3 children, she should have more children than she has houses. That is my challenge, Taylor Swift. And I'm not being sarcastic. I think that if she ends up having children, she'll stop this kind of liberal endorsing Joe Biden nonsense. And we want Taylor Swift on Team America. We want you to leave the island of the wokies. And we would welcome you with open arms.
Pause again. What I love about this, by the way, is that Charlie Kirk, like Elon Musk, is advocating for more kids. Right? That's what they say. Yet they support candidates who cut after-school programs. They support politicians who think free childcare is insane. They support those taking office who believe giving kids a free education, rather, is a farce. Charlie Kirk, it should be argued, is actually not pro-life. He's not. He's anti-humanity. What he wants is women to be enslaved to men. That's his worldview.
Up until this point, that's not a great role model for young women, to wait all the way until you're 35 and just put your career first.
You heard it from the horse's mouth. Women shouldn't have careers. They should not be independent, not be successful. They should not strive for something. All they should be is simply a body that a man can control, per Charlie Kirk. I'm going to get into the war movement in just a second. On the Schlafly front, she despised women who expressed themselves. She loved John Wayne. She ran for Congress twice, unsuccessfully. As you mentioned previously, friendly with the John Birch Society. She was anti-federal daycare centers. She hated equality, opposed immigration, and had her views adopted by communities, as you stated, who hated civil rights. I feel like this is a mix of fear-mongering over a word that is thrown around all the time. But when I see anti-federal daycare centers, I think, wow, you guys just hate a degree of helping people, even though it's completely the opposite of what you should be preaching, and that you are somehow going to insert socialism in here to try and fear-monger even more. Is that pretty accurate, would you say?
Oh yeah, yeah. Calling daycare or any form of government assistance, welfare, all of these things, right? Very easily tarred as socialist, Marxist, as un-American, undermining the foundations of American society, undermining American individualism, the can-do spirit, right? All of that. And Phyllis Schlafly, right? She's an incredible figure, honestly. I don't know if you noticed in the book as I was writing about her, like you can't help but kind of stand in awe of who she was and what she did, even as I, detest many of the things that she accomplished. She was formidable. And I think that, when I look at Phyllis Schlafly, I'm reminded of a lot of women in the right, the Christian right in particular, who, the rules kind of don't apply to them as long as they are supporting this movement.
Right.
You can look at Sarah Palin. You can look at, interestingly this week, even Amy Coney Barrett. What happens, like these women are just great. Absolutely. And they don't have to follow all the rules of, staying at home and submitting to husbands and so on, as long as they're building this movement. But as soon as they're perceived in any way to be an obstacle, all hell breaks loose.
And yet that is the key. Kirk saying he would essentially grant Taylor Swift an exemption because, and only because, she would bend the knee to his ideology.
And honestly, Pfizer pays well, baby. Pfizer pays the bills. That is quite a ring, Mr. Kelce. I'm impressed. I got to be honest. We don't know exactly how much Pfizer paid you to peddle that product, but boy, you brought in the Benjamins, sir. That is some impressive carrots right there.
Pause once more. Lastly, it is insane to hear a guy state stuff like this because his entire backing comes from far-right billionaires.